Welcome to the Bald Brad Show. Our lead story of the day is regarding yesterday's State of the Union address, and we got the highlights for you. As always, support the show by hitting that like and subscribe button, leaving us a short, sweet comment down below. Your help and support would be greatly appreciated. Well, for an hour and a half last night, I sat there and listened to Joe Biden fumble through his words, ramble, make incoherent thoughts, all for you folks. I took one for the team. If that doesn't deserve a comment, a like, and a subscribe, I don't know what will. But right off the get-go, Biden took no time to start making misleading claims about the economy, claiming that he created a record 12 million new jobs. No, this isn't even the worst of it, you guys. We're starting off soft here, but let's hear it from the horse's mouth.
2 years ago, the economy was reeling. I stand here tonight after we've created, with the help of many people in this room, 12 million new jobs. More jobs created in 2 years than any president's created in 4 years because of you all, because of the American people. 2 years ago.
This guy's deranged. He's delusional. You should have saw him, folks. He basically got chauffeured out on a gurney. I was trying to look for any wires I could see of somebody kind of controlling the puppet as he was talking. But this guy's going to make the claim that he created 12 million new jobs. They shut down the entire country. They didn't let people go to work. Hell, you couldn't even go outside of your house. So when people go back to work, he's going to count that as he created a new job of you going back to work. Oh, well, it's the most any president's ever done. Look at me. It's like, Joe, you sat there. It would have happened anyways. You didn't have to do anything. All you had to do was ride on Trump's coattails and not do anything, and you ruined everything. And it doesn't stop there. We got some quotes from this guy. So Biden touted how gas prices have gone down slightly, but failed to note that they skyrocketed to all-time highs during his administration. If you recall, he blamed it on the Putin war, Putin's price hike, as to why gas prices have gone up. And we covered it here, along with what Ted Cruz said about gas prices skyrocketing before Putin ever invaded Ukraine. But, you know, Karine Jean-Pierre doesn't want to answer any questions on that. Joe Biden doesn't want to mention it. Kamala Harris is out there in the ether doing whatever the hell knows she's doing. But Biden also claimed that inflation is coming down, but failed to note that inflation levels remained high throughout his administration and peaked at a 40-year high. He also claimed that Americans' take-home pay has gone up, without mentioning that record inflation has severely impacted those gains. So he's like saying all these things, but he's not mentioning the bad part that comes along with it. He's like, look what I did. Oh, yeah, that came along with it too. That's also impacting it, but let's just skip over that because nobody's going to notice. We're not done. We got clips. We got everything for you today, folks. Biden claimed the skyrocketing inflation rates that exploded under his watch on the pandemic that disrupted supply chains and Putin's war that disrupted energy and food supplies. Biden failed to note the inflation rates took off under his administration, not the previous administration, and how his $1.9 trillion American Rescue Plan turbocharged inflation. I mean, the amount of caca that was coming out of this guy's mouth was crazy last night. Mind-blowing. And like I said, I subjected myself to it. I had to sit there and torture myself for an hour and a half listening to this bogus stuff. It was terrible. It was terrible. Well, here's Joe Biden talking about these cities in the United States that have basically been carved out and left to nothing because a certain party basically destroyed them. But just like with all the other things we just read, he doesn't mention who that party is. Let's go ahead and roll it.
Factories closed down. Once thriving cities and towns that many of you represent became shadows of what they used to be. Along the way, something else we lost.
Shadows of what they used to be. Gee, Joe, who could that have been responsible of? Meaning, who actually caused that? Well, there was a party there that's to your right, Joe, but to our left that you don't want to look at, but you were looking towards the Republicans when you said it. Oh, it's the Democrat Party, Joe. That's who it is. 27 of the 30 most crime-ridden cities is Democrat ran. And you got to love it, you guys, because what the left does here is they'll go, oh, well, what about that one area that's ran by Republicans? Oh, perfect. So you're going to use an outlier, because the left loves to do this, to represent the data set as a whole. It's so mind-blowing to me. And you saw this idea also echoed by the Biden administration, Karine Jean-Pierre, Joe Biden himself, VP Harris, as well as the nutsos on The View, where they said, oh, well, it's red states that are so crime-ridden. The red states have the worst crime. Well, if you actually zoomed in on that, it was the blue cities in those red states that had the most crime. But like Joe Biden mentioned, you know, they're just not what they used to be. Why? Oh, because it was the Democrats running that. Very similar to how United States isn't what it used to be, because who's running it? Oh, it's the Democrats. But Joe Biden's going to sit there and grandstand and parade everywhere. And it was literally laughable. Like, The Republicans were literally laughing at him last night. Watch what his statements were about oil, you guys. I'm going to play you. It's kind of lengthy, not super long. You really can't make this up. He looked like a knucklehead. Like, he looked like an idiot. I know people are like, well, Brad, that's always the case. But you guys, it's a State of the Union address. The whole country's watching this thing. And by whole country, I just mean, a select few like myself, subjecting myself, again, to torture to this. Hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't already. But let's hear the thing on the oil here. Guys, I'm holding back because it's so astonishing, this guy, and everybody laughs at him.
Think about it. Have you noticed Big Oil just reported its profits, record profits? Last year they made $200 billion in the midst of a global energy crisis.
Let's not talk about and leave this one out as well, the amount of losses they took, Joe. But we don't want to talk about that. Again, he always gives the good, but he's not talking about what comes along with it or what happened before. Let's continue.
I think it's outrageous. Why? They invested too little of that profit to increase domestic production. And when I talk to a couple of them, they say, we're afraid you're going to shut down all the oil wells and all the oil refineries anyway, so why should we invest in them? I said, we're going to need oil for at least another decade. And that's going to exceed and beyond that. We're going to need it. Production. If they had, in fact, invested in the production to keep gas prices down, instead, they used the record profits to buy back their own stock.
This guy's an idiot. He's an actual idiot. Remember on the campaign trail, and just like a few months ago, he was saying, we're going to get rid of the fossil fuel industry. Well, we might need it for another 10 years. Are you stupid? You guys, even if we wanted to go full electric, our grid can't handle it. I mean, talk about the state of California here for a second. We can't even power our homes in August and September. In the summer and winter, we can't even power just on normal time. We're barely making it. So if you put like 12 million new vehicles, which is what the state of California wants to do, that are all electric, all hooked up, we can't support it. Our infrastructure can't support it. So not to mention the miners that mine lithium literally say it's impossible. It's literally mathematically impossible to mine as much lithium to make the batteries that United States wants to do here, as well as California. Basically the Democrat Party. So it's so laughable. Well, we might need you guys for another 10 years. Oh, great, Joe. Perfect. Let's just spend billions of dollars investing into oil drilling for the next decade, and that's it. I mean, the idiocracy of that statement is so head-spinning, and it came from the leader of the free world. And he's so deranged, he has no idea what he just said. He was literally baffled as to why everybody was laughing at him in that place because of the asinine things that he said. But it doesn't stop there. I know you guys are going, what the hell happened last night? Get your cup of coffee because we got something even better. So Joe Biden's going to lecture all of us about this whole idea that the talk to brown kids from their fathers and mothers about being pulled over by the police and how they need to hold their hands on the steering wheel and such. White kids, Asian kids, and everybody else doesn't have that conversation from their parents either. He's given us a lecture here basically on Mr. Nichols' case and kind of extrapolating that about police brutality and all these other things. Just listen to him ramble here. But it's just astonishing the lack of connection that he actually has with the average American. Let's go ahead and roll it.
Most of us in here have never had to have the talk that brown and black parents have had to have with their children. Bo, Hunter, Ashley, my children. I never had to have the talk with them. I never had to tell them if a police officer pulls you over, turn your interior lights on right away. Don't reach for your license. Keep your hands on the steering wheel. Imagine having to worry like that every single time your kid got in a car. Most of us in here.
Folks, let me know in the live chat in the comment section down below if you were given the speech. I'm pale as can be. Granted, if I were to go out in the sun and actually tan, I can get pretty freaking dark. But that's regardless, and it has nothing to do with the point I'm trying to make. My grandfather was a highway patrolman. My dad was a highway patrolman. A freaking cop told me, meaning my dad and grandfather, if somebody pulls you over, you ain't messing around. I'm keeping a PG right now. You are really not messing around. You do as everything that guy or gal tells you. They want to search your vehicle, you let them search the vehicle. You don't screw around. He said, hands 10 and 2. Yes, officer. No, sir. Yes, sir. Give the utmost respect. Even if the guy's being an a-hole, you sit there and bow down to that man for as long as you need to. So don't give me this Joe of like, oh, well, it's only black people getting the spiel. What an idiot. It just shows you how far removed he is, because he's been in politics his entire life and has only mooched off the government as well. Has never held really like an actual job. I'm sure maybe when he was younger, but the vast majority of his life, he's basically a Bernie Sanders 2.0, just suckling at the government teat here and having no idea that there's actual people out there, average Americans, that predominantly tell all their kids this and have been told this themselves. But it's only black people that should be fearful whenever they get pulled over. I don't know a single person that's just like, oh, this is great, I'm being pulled over. Oh, cool. I'm nervous. I don't want to get a ticket. You're wondering what you did wrong. You're wondering, is something going to happen? Is this guy already having a bad mood? Did he just deal with a knucklehead right before he pulled me over? So he's already pissed and now he's going to take it out on me in some way, shape, or form. Everybody has these thoughts go through their mind. I ain't screwing around with a cop pulling me over. I'm following whatever that guy wants, all his commands. But, Joe Biden sitting there lecturing all of us and making it seem like we don't know and white people don't know to do this and they don't have to have that conversation, all this idiotic stuff. Well, the whole crowd erupts very similar like they did with the whole oil drilling thing, because he blatantly lies. And somebody goes, oh, that's not a shock, because he was lying all night, or at least manipulating things as he was saying it. I know we're so accustomed to that because we do a lot of the White House press briefings here, and it's echoed by his other mouthpiece called Karine Jean-Pierre, and maybe that's where she gets it from. But here you have Marjorie Taylor Greene completely just yelling out, you lie, you lie. Republicans are frustrated because he's saying that Republicans are going to cut Social Security, Medicare, and stuff like that, which they've come out. Kevin McCarthy literally said they're not going to do it. You have Karine Jean-Pierre on the White House podium still saying they're going to do it when they literally come out and said they're not going to do it. Well, this is their reaction to him saying all this.
Instead of making the wealthy pay their fair share, some Republicans want Medicare and Social Security to sunset. I'm not saying it's a majority. Let me give you, anybody who doubts it, contact my office. I'll give you a copy. I'll give you a copy of the proposal. That means Congress doesn't vote. Well, I'm glad to see you. No, I tell you, I enjoy conversion. It means if Congress doesn't keep the programs the way they are, they'd go away. Other Republicans say, I'm not saying it's a majority of you. I don't even think it's even a significant, but it's being proposed by individuals. I'm not politely not naming them, but it's being proposed by some of you. Look, folks, the idea is that we're not going to be moved into being threatened to default on the debt if we don't respond. Folks,
you see Mike Lee's reaction there at the end going, who is this guy? What is he talking about? And I saved that clip for last for a reason, because it really does sum up last night. All the Republicans' reactions sum up perfectly Joe Biden's State of the Union address. It was filled with misconceptions. It was filled with stretching data. It was filled with using outliers as the data set. It was filled with misconceptions, manipulation, spinning left and right, which, you know what? We shouldn't be shocked here because, like I said, we do every White House press briefing, and Karine Jean-Pierre does it every single day. Now we know why she does it, because her boss does it. They don't have anything to run on whatsoever. You got inflation up, food prices are up. You got all these things going on with their foreign policy. You got China flying a freaking spy balloon, and we can barely shoot it out of the sky. I mean, we look so weak. It is ridiculous. We already looked weak looking at Joe Biden standing on that podium fumbling. Literally, we could do a whole gaffe compilation of Joe Biden slurring his words, fumbling, losing his train of thought the entire night. It was one of the worst speeches I've ever seen. But, hey, like I said, I had to sit there and subject myself to it. So I'm going to keep saying it because it was horrible, you guys. It sucked. But I want to make sure we bring the best content here. At least we try to bring the best content here on the Bald Brad Show for all of you, because you guys are freaking rock stars. You're true American patriots. We got to fight back here. We do have some major announcements, you guys. Hey, can you just kind of keep an open calendar for maybe the end of February? Because we're going to do a major announcement here. We got a lot of goodies for you, a lot of things to announce, and I would like to do a live stream, so I'll try to set a date in stone. I'm trying to make sure certain things are actually packaged and ready for all of you, so that when we actually do the live stream, you have stuff to go to. But I just want to make sure everything's good. We're looking at the end of February. Okay, I'll have an exact date in the community tab, and I'll keep kind of rambling off every episode, telling you look out for it so you can kind of plan around. I'd love you there with me because it is a big deal for me personally, and I'd really love for you to be a part of it and support me in some way, shape, or form. So as always, folks, support me right now by hitting that like and subscribe button, leaving us a short, sweet comment down below. If you don't know what to say something as simple as good morning or good afternoon. Like I said, we got an awesome community here on the Bald Brad channel that would love to engage with you as well as myself. I read all the comments just because I don't comment on them. I'm one human being, folks, and there's thousands of them. Again, show me some love here by hitting that like and subscribe button. Leave us a comment down below. And folks, I'll see you tomorrow here on the Bald Brad Show.